G'day everybody, today I've got here the Avenger Strike Fighter from the Forge World. I've just finished building it and now it's time to paint it. I thought I would take this opportunity to go ahead and sort of showcase the model before I paint it, because I've done a fair bit of magnetization and yeah, I'd really like to show that off. Also got this really tall acrylic base, a fairly piddly base, but you know, it seems alright. It is a little nose heavy though, which is unfortunate. But let's get in closer and have a better look. Alright, here it is. And well, where should we start? I suppose we should start with the modifications that you might have some questions about. So I guess we'll start with the las cannons. Well, knowing that the Avenger Strike Fighter is based off of, you know, the Stuka, probably mispronouncing that, but it's based off of the German Stuka from World War II, with a little bit of A10 Warthog with that massive minigun at the front. But I really wanted to bring in the aesthetic of the, I think it's the Ju-87G that had the two 37mm cannons. The las cannons that this kit comes with are obviously much shorter, but I wanted to get that profile, get the Stuka feel. And the way I did that was I used a coping saw to cut the barrel of the las cannon, and then I used a bit of a rod solid, a shaft, tube, used plastic hard tube, and I don't even think it's glued on. I know the front isn't glued on, obviously the back is, but yeah. So the reason I did that was to get that, yeah, that awesome Stuka look. The other customizations I did was put purity seals on the engine, sort of ADMEC approval, but unfortunately you can see it's got that white scale sort of effect on it, and that's the super glue that I use, so I don't really know what's going on there. It was super unfortunate that had to happen. There's also a purity seal inside the cockpit here, and that's got the Black Templars icon for one of the things, which then brings us to this. So this is from the Black Templars kit, so it looks like a Luftwaffe aircraft, and I thought that without just doing a straight up swash slipper, this would be a good way to do that. Now, the way this put this kit together was mostly through the use of 5-minute araldite and cyanocrylate super glue. The areas where I used 2-part epoxy araldite was this joint of the wing to the engine, and then the engine to the smaller wing. That's all araldite and mirrored on the other side. The nose to the main chassis or main hull, whatever you want to call it, fuselage, probably fuselage, is araldited together, and then I had to use about a bunch of green stuff to, you know, make that seem pretty, because otherwise it was quite ghastly. Back here, the horizontal tail flaps, whatever they're called, ailerons? I think they're called ailerons. Araldite to there, and then again there to there. These are pinned and then araldited. These, I believe, are just araldited. This joint here is pinned, as is the nose to the fuselage. So I did pin a little bit. It wasn't much. It was, you know, 0.5 millimeter wire, but you know, it just helps set the object for gluing. And everything else is just with super glue. So, you know, all the magnets are super glued in. And yeah. Alrighty, so we've got this foot-high stand for the Avenger Strike Fighter, and the Forge World kit normally comes with that cross pattern for their little bases. So what I've done is I've drilled out a 12mm hole on the drill press, and then further in a 2mm hole, and that matches up with the 12mm acrylic in the 2mm brass rod, and then down on the base it's a laser cut MDF base, and under this rocky terrain is a block of wood with another 12mm hole in it. Alrighty. Now we've got the magnetization to go through. So let's break this down. We've got the cockpit. We've got the main gun. We've got... Now, the gunner himself is not magnetized, but he is kept in with just in between the gun and the seat. So this magnetizes to the chassis, as does this. And the magnets for this are back here, as you can see. And then on the front, we've got the pilot, which comes out like this. And if I can do this with one hand, the console comes away from the seat, and the pilot again is not magnetized. And the reason I did this was so I could have the Avenger Strike Fighter just in the hangar with no pilots. And then this is where the next part comes in. This is this landing gear, I guess it's the landing gear, is also magnetized. So if we flip this up, the landing gear comes off as well, and then we can just put the pad in there for when it's on the flying base. Now we have the other weapons. So now the kit comes with 2 las cannons, and I had these 2 Hellstrike missiles, and we've also got that Gatling cannon. All magnetized. You can see I use 2mm magnets on all of these, and also see the difference between the two here. I've also magnetized the hard point. On all of these. So depending on what weapon, or I can interchange between different Forge World models. And finally the minigun comes off for one very important reason, so that I can put the Magna Melter from a Seistus assault ram onto this model, if I so please, which I think looks awesome. There you go. And so what I've done is I've cut out the actual where the glass is, because I'm just going to paint that. I'll put in some vellum later, or some clear plastic. Now, let me get this back together and then we can talk about how I'm going to paint it. Alright, let's start talking about colour. So, the colours that I'm going to be painting this, it's going to be two-tone. The belly the underside is going to be what I believe is referred to as a duck egg blue, so a nice light blue, sort of moving towards a beige, the colour of a sky, basically. And the theme is going to be sort of an Africa core camouflage. So on top, what I'm going to be doing is, and my inspiration, I'll throw some pictures up now, is going to be, basically what someone else has done to a Stuka, and that's my goal. And we're going to start with white undercoat, white base coat, because I've got some white primer that I want to use up. And I think it'll make laying down the duck egg blue base and the olive green on top easy enough. Alright, hopefully the next shot you see is me spray painting the fuselage. Alrighty, so we're just about ready to paint the Avenger Strike Fighter, and today I've got the white primer, or base primer matte white by none other than Army Painter. I've had this shit for ages and I've been hoping to use it up, and it should work well with the colours of the Avenger Strike Fighter that I outlined before, so let's see how we go. next step is to paint these canopies. And there you have it. So it's all based, the fuselage and the canopies. And yeah, pretty even coat, I would think. Should hopefully lay down a good foundation for us to work our camouflage off of. Unfortunately, I think you can tell in the video that the canopy is a different color to the thing, obviously because the color of that clear resin is coming through compared to the color of the resin underneath of the fuselage. So hopefully that won't impact the final product. If it does, we'll just have to deal with it, or it'll be only noticeable to us who know. Otherwise, I think that's good. In the next episode, we'll prime the weapons and the crew black with an airbrush, and maybe lay down base coats on the fuselage here. Alrighty, that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later. See ya.